Good morning, or whatever time it happens to be where you are. So you guys may be thinking, those of you that are following the channel, Ben, you already reviewed this deck. I didn't. I reviewed slicks, but I didn't review this deck. And this is the real 8.38 Ishod slick. So it's not a twin tail. Let's get into the specs. This is 8.38, but it actually measures just a hair under 8.5. The length is 32.25, which is easily a ½ inch bigger than most decks I like to ride. The wheelbase is 14.5, which is long, so I was really daunted at riding this board. In fact, I almost didn't want to. I basically got it because it was the only slick in the warehouse. So when the time finally did come to set it up, I set it up on some Indy 149 titaniums, so really nice light truck, and I also put on radial slim 52s. So those are a nice slim wheel that have a good mix of slimness and contact patch because they're kind of square shaped. So as you can see, this was a beautiful setup, and once I had it together I was actually pretty tickled to go out and ride it. So this is my first hour skating this board, not even getting used to it. So I was actually super surprised. It did not take me long to get used to this setup at all, and I would credit a lot of that to the Indy 149s and the fact that, again, this is a pretty mellow kicked board. So the nose and tail do not have a very steep angle. There's about 2.5 to almost 3 fingers of flat before it kicks up, so it was quite mellow. And the combination of the weight of the deck, just where everything was, made it actually work technically really quite well. And you can see that again in this clip where somebody's on the dad cam and I'm just kind of messing about. So even though I did the slick review already, let's talk about the slick really quickly. I actually think it was awesome. I would definitely ride another slick. There's only a few things that I found a little bit challenging, like sometimes backside tricks or flip into slides were a little bit daunting. The one thing this deck did that I haven't had any other real decks do is after about 3 weeks, it softened up. It was actually a pretty flexible deck to begin with, and then after about 3 weeks it sort of went to the next level of flexiness. So I did end up setting up another deck to get a nice crispy setup going, and I've repurposed this one for my curb crusher and bowl setup. I now have standard Indy 149s on this and these Spitfire lock-ins, 54s, that are probably getting close to 52 now. So while I could skate this well technically, I don't think I unlocked the true potential of this board until I put on these heavy trucks and bigger wheels, to be honest. Because once I did that, it made the kicks not feel so flat anymore. It gave it a nice hefty feel, and increasing your wheel size can also make the front of your board feel a bit heavier for ollies. And this was a good thing, because at this point, this setup needed that. Also, it's now amazing for transition. So contrary to what I said in my slick review, I actually didn't have any problems with this thing when I was skating it in terms of doing like fakie disasters and backside disasters. I wasn't slipping out at all. I felt really comfortable. And as you can see, it was also really nice for sliding. So that board slide fakie is a sketchy trick for me, and I did it first try. And I would credit a lot of that to this because I know exactly what it's going to do when I go to do my slides. So I think what this is the best for is transition, personally. A deck this wide with these big wheels and these big hefty trucks. So I'm actually probably going to re-grip this thing and skate this with an old pair of vulcanized shoes every time I go to a bowl. So it did start to get a little bit chunky for flip tricks, but if you're skating a skate park and doing a lot of the Canadian specials, fatty to flatties, it's still fantastic for that. Tons of landing surface, nice big pop. So I was trying to get you guys your regular Saturday morning video, but I was just not satisfied with the amount of footage I had, and I needed to do a whole bunch of slide tricks on this. So here we are at my favorite little ledge spot, which is barely a ledge. In fact, it's kind of a very tall curb. I'm still just trying to get comfy on backside tails on the slicker board. And also, I'm really noticing that when you have a setup this heavy, the setup has its own momentum that you have to keep up to. Is there anyone else here that still needs to do a solid switch Mongo push before going up to certain tricks just to feel comfortable? Well, I do. So a month in, the slick hasn't worn off. It's just really weird, interesting stuff. Like if you can see up close and here, maybe not. It's got a weird texture and I really can't describe it. But listen to the sound of the slides in these first few clips I showed you. The first half a dozen slides you do on this thing sound like a zipper. All right, that's enough blabbing at you guys. I'm sure you're getting ready to go out and skate. I hope you're gonna have an awesome skate today. I'm happy with this deck. I'd definitely try another slick. With very few exceptions, I always felt safer trying something on a slick because I just know what it's gonna do. So anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. May your next session be your best session yet. And get out there and do something. Beautiful day. Well, maybe it's not where you are. Maybe it's horrible. But we're finally gonna get a week of sun here. It's been non-stop rain. That's why you didn't get your Saturday morning video. Why are you still here? You should have either clicked on something or just closed your computer and gone.